Hey my fellow Diamond friends, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kalikaloo on the internet, and I also go by the name of Kali, and I'm very happy that you found your way to today's video, which is the second part of my WIP&SIP&CHATs of the holiday talk. So I'll be continuing last week's little story where I've been telling you a little bit more about my holiday trip to Spain. To Torremolinos, Malaga. So if you have not seen the first one, you can still check it out. It's on my webpage. Well, not really webpage, but on my channel. And you can also find the story I told you about the Alhambra and this guy called Lil Wayne. So not the real Lil Wayne, but kind of little Lil Wayne. Call him whatever you want. So if you're excited about today, you are right to be, because there's not a crazy story I'm going to tell you. So first of all, this is what I'm working on. So today is the WIP&SIP&CHAT. For those who are new to diamond painting in general, WIP stands for work in progress, which means that I'll be working on this beautiful gem from our small shop called Jolly Jam. You can find it under www.jollyjamshop.com. So if you want to check it out, we sell legally licensed diamond painting kits. And this one here is from Tony Callao, and she's called Mermaid Summer. So I'm working on her for summer. I feel it's here a lot more like autumn right now, so I really want to get over with this one and switch over to the foxes or another painting, an autumn painting that I have in my stash. So, but this is what we are working on today. I made some progress. Let me see if I can not zoom in, but zoom out. And I finished like her fins. And I'm working now, I finished her hand, she's holding a cocktail, so I'm not yet at the cocktail, but I'm going to work on this part here. I just started like her hair, and then I will try to move on as quick as I can to get done with this and show you something else. So we are working on this one. I told you can find it in our shop, it will be linked down below. I still use the same tools. I really should change tools up. I ordered 2 new pens. They will come in soon as well, so you will see them in one of the next videos probably. So but today it's like just this pink pen because it works so well with the canvas. I still have my Edgar here with me, and yeah, so the Edgar I made it myself, because this is just like one of these little thingies you get for I don't know, you can put them in a brooch or something. And you can wear them actually, or in a necklace or earrings or whatever. And I just put a magnet behind, and I can use it as a cover minder. Really sweet. And I use my self-made putty. So this is bamboo. It's the bamboo sand, bamboo and rain sand. I really love this one. So this is what we are working with today. It's my WIP. So get out whatever WIP you are working on, or whatever it is that you want to work on. Then we have the sipping part, really important as well. So go grab something to drink. I just got my tea. It's a black tea for me today. In the morning I always like to have some black tea. We are pretty early today. It's what else? It's 8 o'clock. So 8 o'clock, a little bit, 8:20 or something like that. So really early, and we are going to start diamond painting so that I can upload it later on. And then you have something to watch tonight. I'm sorry I just like kind of brought it out today. My boyfriend was home like pretty much all of this week, and I just kind of prefer doing my videos when I'm home alone. So that's also why I did not get a lot done. But yeah, so let's kick it off, and I will tell you today what's on the plan. So I will tell you today a little bit more about the trip, the end of the trip. And then I will tell you a little bit more about which books I've read recently. There's something that I find quite interesting in. I'm sorry for my English today. I don't know, just like kind of ignore the little errors I make. I hear them, but it's still early. So I will tell you a little bit more about the books I read, which I find kind of fascinating or interesting. And then to end it up, what is the last part I wanted to tell you about? Oh, a little bit maybe about this week. I'm not sure yet. Maybe I will just keep that for another WIP&SIP&CHAT if it goes too long. So let's kick it off. Let's start. So I'm going to choose my very first color and we are going to move on. So this is the color, very pink. I love the colors of this image so much. So I really love how you have all of these gorgeous pink tones, and yeah, I really should focus more on my placing though. So I'm not really the best placer. But yeah, so the last thing I told you last week was the Alhambra trip, where we had, it was like kind of a group tour, and there was like this guy who really disrespected, in my opinion, his girlfriend, and so I told you about that. It was really a beautiful trip because it's, when I think back at the holidays, the trip, or like more the Alhambra is what comes to mind. So this was really, really beautiful. Okay, so I'm back. There was just a phone call. Like I told you guys, it's pretty early here, and usually it's time when my mom calls me, because we don't see each other every day, even though we live pretty close. And so we just gotta check in. So everything is fine, and let's move on, like diamond painting. And I told you a little bit about the Alhambra, but I can't really remember when I stopped. I think I told you about the Alhambra. Let's move on from there. So we stayed afterwards for quite a while still in Spain. So this happened the first week. We went away for more or less like 10 days. And it was really soon that we went there when we started our journey. And actually the thing is that I also wanted to go to Sevilla. There was like my friend Sandy who talked about the trip and how she always got these beautiful places, beautiful hotel rooms. I'm still waiting for that trick. So if you know, and you can let me know. So I will try that out next time as well. But what I want to say is that, so it was pretty at the beginning of our journey to Spain when we went to Granada and the Alhambra. And afterwards, like, I really wanted to go to Sevilla, but they offered the trips like on a regular basis, like 1 or 2 days in a week. So it would have been possible to go there. But the thing is just that, first of all, it's like, I feel it's pretty expensive. This was not the problem. The problem is more that when we went there were a lot of fires going on, and Sevilla was more or less surrounded by wildfires. The problem was that it was really hot in July when we were there, and I don't know if it was actually natural or if someone made a fire. You know that in these hot areas, if it's Spain, it's often like Spain, Italy, I feel like Greece or Portugal, you have a lot of these fires in summer. And unfortunately, they kind of destroy more or less of all of the nature at that place. And often, like, these are also places with a lot of mountains, and they have not as much greenery there, so it's very dry, and the fire does take pretty easily. So this is what happens like a lot of times. I've been to Spain often, quite often already. Not always like the country itself, but also sometimes like more of the islands. Tenerife or also Palma, Mallorca. And usually there was always like in summer there was a fire, and that was always devastating a region, often like the more northern regions, because there was like, it was even more dry in that area. And it's really, really sad because this means that everything is destroyed. And also for people who live there, it's really not fun. And I've seen that around the world with like global warming and everything. These things are not getting better. And when we were in Spain, I was so sad because I went to Greece like a few years ago. And even though I think that Greece was not my best trip ever, I did not like what the region sometimes looked like. People were super, super kind, but there are so many abandoned houses and stuff, and this is due to, like, one explained to us, the guide back then explained to us that if they did not finish it, or there were crises, they did not finish it, so they had like not to pay until it was like finished. And so many people lived in houses that were not finished and they never had to pay. So I don't know if this is still true, but that was what the guide back then told us. And so you had a lot of abandoned or like semi-constructed hotels or houses in all of the region, and it was really not as beautiful. And I feel like we went to Greece, and back there we went to Lindos. Lindos is like a really small town, not that small, but small. And it was like really typical and really beautiful. One of the most beautiful places I've seen when I was there. And unfortunately, like there was wildfire as well. And I was thinking all the time about the little donkeys that were there. And I told my boyfriend, like, I really hope that they save the donkeys from the fire. And he was like, yeah, but they make money with it. Of course they will save it. But I don't know. I really hope everyone was safe, and I really hope the donkeys as well. So yeah, that's just me and my soul for the animals. Like, I really always want to save the animals, kinda. I don't know. Just me. So this is that. And afterwards, like I told you, we wanted to go to Sevilla because of the fires. We ended up not going there. But we did go a few times to Malaga. Actually, we went 2 times. The first time we went there, and it was like more of a découverte. So we wanted to find stuff, we wanted to see stuff, and we explored the city. I love to read, and since I also can talk a little bit in Spanish, I wanted to bring myself back a book in Spanish. I actually celebrated my birthday in Spain, and my boyfriend already offered me a book in Spanish. I chose Momo. If you know, it's a children's book, I know. But I really wanted it because there were illustrations in it, and I really loved the way the book looked. So he kind of gave me that for my birthday. But when we went to Malaga, we kind of found other libraries, like other bookshops. And I just could not resist, and I had to buy another book. And fun fact is that it's actually not, I wanted one from a Spanish writer, but I ended up like picking one up from a Japanese writer, and just because it talked to me a little bit more. And yeah, the fun fact is that if you go there are actually in none of their libraries or bookshops, there were no seats to be seated. And that's so weird, because I feel like here, whenever you go to a bookshop, they have like a real seat for people to sit down, and you can read a little bit. But that was not the case in Spain. So I was like, do they just want them to buy it and go home? Don't you have like the possibility to read in the bookshop? Or I don't know. So I was wondering about that. And I don't know if it's just like in France or Luxembourg, where you often have like seats with your bookshop, or if that's like just a thing that I was unlucky when I went to like these libraries and there was just no seat because they did not think about the deco, or I don't know. So this was what happened. But in Malaga, the first time we visited, we were kind of exploring, and it was really hot that day. And if you go into a city, often like it's hotter and it's like more dry than when you are next to the beach. What we did visit when we went to Malaga the first time was actually a museum. It was like an old building, and they did put there like a museum, and the collection does always change. And there was like a Spanish artist who has exposed his artwork. And it was so amazing. I'm really sorry, I can't remember the name. I'm going to put it on screen now. So this is the name of the artist. And what he did is he actually did like sculptures and drawings of like these cats with the big eyes and children. And it was so nice because the sculptures, they were so big. And it was so amazing with this nice old decor of the buildings. So I'm just going to blend you in some pictures of these as well, so you can have a look at it. But that was really, really amazing. And I liked what these actually looked like all of these statuettes, and the cats were so sweet. So at the end we went also to like the store they had there, but unfortunately there was nothing that great. I actually thought, since most of the things were like paintings or like statuettes, I thought they would like sell them, like, you know, these little statuettes that are pop mart, or what are they called, like these little you get everything from them, from Star Wars to anime to whatever, these figurines. I think it's pop. Is it pop? They are called pop mart or something like that. Anyway, I thought it would be really nice to have something like this and sell them. Even if it's a little bit more expensive, I'm sure people would have bought these, but there was nothing like that. They showed some more like small sculptures, but you could not buy them. So I was a little bit disappointed about the shop, because I would have loved to buy one and to put that in my home, because like I really like to have like weird stuff, and then people come and say, what is that, where did you get that from? And then I have a story to tell. So this is actually fun. It's not like I invite many people to my place though, so this is just probably going to happen in my head. But yeah, I would have loved to have like a little something for decoration. Really cute. So I hope you liked the pictures I showed you. Afterwards, like, we kind of continued. There was like this cathedral. We did not go inside of the cathedral. We just like took a look at it from outside. Afterwards, we went to the covered market, and they actually sold a lot of food, and it was just food actually. And they had the covered market divided into like categories, which means that at the beginning you had the fruit and the vegetables. Afterwards you had like fish, meat, and cheese and whatever. It was really nice to see that. There were a lot of people around mid-time, just because like they got a snack there, a lot of tapas as well. We passed a woman, and she was German. And I don't know if it's just that they noticed that she was not local. Again, I told you, people were not as nice as I remembered them being when I was last in Spain. But she had bought some fruit there, and she had for over 60 euros, and the paper bag she received was so small. And she was like, no, I'm not going to take this. That's not the price that's indicated. So I really think that they were like trying to get away with making her pay more. I just don't know if it was because she was like, they noticed that she was not Spanish, and they thought like, okay, we tell her the price and she will probably not say no, because you have a lot of people who can't say no. So yeah, I don't know, but this kind of made me not want to buy anything from there. And so we moved on. We did not even eat there. In the end, we went to the Corte Inglés, which is actually like kind of it's, how should I explain? It's like, it's not really, is it a shopping mall? It's probably a shopping mall. But it's like also a chain of stuff. So this means you can find that throughout like whole of Spain. You find these Corte Inglés stores. Even on the islands that I visited, there were like these big supermarkets, and they have always like the same stuff, like big brands, and it was really fun just like to visit. And in the end we ate also there for midday, and it was really good. I have to say, it was really good. So we went back there the second time we went to Malaga. And you really eat well there. It was a little bit more chic, but it was really, really nice. And it was really good. The first time I ate a burger, I remember. And the second time I had their lasagna, which was really delicious. So I never regretted my choice. So often it's nicer to go to a little restaurant in town and to eat there. But since we were really hungry at that moment, we first time decided to eat there. And the second time around was just so good. We decided, okay, we are not going to go anywhere else, maybe eat something we don't like. We just went for the safe place, safe choice, and we went back there second time around. So this was the first time, and we did some kind of shopping. We went to the bookshop. And we moved back to like their commercial street and did some shopping as well. More looking than shopping actually, because I feel like they have most of their boutiques are like the same that we have here. So it's not really so different anymore than it might have been earlier. I got a lot of messages. Just want to check the time. Yeah, so this is what happened in Malaga. Back then, like, we were already super tired and our feet hurt, and it was really hot that day. And we had not finished yet our discovery. So we moved on a little bit more, and we ended up next to the castle. And my mom had told me, because she went there earlier that year, and she had told me that it was really amazing if we could go up to the castle, which was really on top of everything, because you got a really nice view from up there. And I was like, okay, my feet hurt, but maybe we can do it. So, and we tried to go grab some water, because I told you it was really, really hot, at least 35, 50, 36, 48 degrees. And they sold like these little water bottles, 50, 100 milliliter for, what was it, like 3 or 4 euros. And that's just too much, you know. But in the end, we found a place where it was less expensive. I feel like whenever you go near to a tourist place, you don't buy water there. Just grab it somewhere else and you will be fine, because they are like kind of making money with it, especially in summer when it's really hot. They know that tourists need water, so they had like a huge stock of water everywhere, and it was really expensive. What is actually a shame, because like water, it's like really what you need to live. So I don't know what you live on, but I think like water is kind of life. And selling this at a price that's so expensive is like, imagine you having small children and they are thirsty. I mean, it's not really cool of them to do so. But then again, it's a tourist place. They probably live from that. So yeah, it's a little bit difficult, but it's water, okay? So we ended up finding water, and we decided to visit the castle. Actually, the castle was divided into 2 places. You had like the part that was down, where you have more of the ruins and you could walk through there. And it was like, okay, but it was fine. But it was like not the best thing I've seen so far. Like if you compare it to the Alhambra, it was really just nice. It was not more. It was fun to see a castle, like a little castle, and you can find them like more or less everywhere. We are blessed with it. We have a lot of them here in France as well, so we had seen already a lot of castles. So it was nice to see, but not really more. The price was okay to enter. Of course, it was not for free, but it was, I think, 5 euros for down, the little part down and on top. And back then, like my feet were hurting so much, and I was like really, really tired. And I told my boyfriend, like, we really have to go like up there, because it was really high up, and it was so hot. I was like, do we really have to go up there because it's so hot and I'm thirsty, and I don't know, do we have to like kind of just hurt ourselves a little bit more just to get that view from the top? And he was like, oh, come, let's do it. Let's see it as a challenge. So we went up there, and it took us so much time because there was no way up. Later on, we discovered that you could buy a bus to go up there. But the worst part was that once we went up there, and it was really like, it was not really paved. It was a weird way to move up. It was certainly beautiful because you had a view from all over the city. You could see it. You could see the arena they had for like the bulls and so on. But once you were at the castle on the top, there was actually we had paid for something, and we thought, yeah, you go on there and you will find like a beautiful garden with like, you know, a castle, like a beautiful castle. And it was just like more ruins, the same as you had down. And it was really not as, there was nothing. There was not even like greenery. There was really nothing. And for that we just kind of had moved up there and our feet hurt and all, so we were like kind of disappointed about that, and it was totally not worth it. I think that if you go there and it's less hot, it might be nice, but forcing you to go up there and feeling like so tired and dehydrated and all, I don't know if it was really worth it. So that's just my point of view. I will try to put in some images if I find some. I think we did not even take some that day from up the castle, just because we were too tired and it was not worth it. But yeah, the view was nice, but I think you can get it also from way down. You don't have to move up so high as we did just to enjoy the view. But I think it would have been nice to do when it was less hot, but that was our own fault because we could have stayed down, I think. But anyway, we did the challenge, we made it, and I forgot some of like these symbols earlier. But I'm a little bit proud of that now. And yeah, that was the first day to Malaga. Afterwards, we kind of just like went home. As we went home, like the bus driver, he also skipped the place where we should get off the bus. So we had, our feet were already that, and we had to work a little bit more to get back to the hotel. So it was like kind of catastrophe back then. But when I look back at it, it's fun to tell, and it's kind of forgotten, like the hurting part is forgotten. Afterwards, the day we kind of just relaxed, we stayed at the hotel, then we like kind of visited more the region, we walked up and down. Like I told you, in the end we didn't know the coast by heart, so there were no more secrets. We enjoyed eating some ice cream, and then we went back to Malaga second time around just to like do some shopping, eat well at the Corte Inglés again. And in the end, I did not do a lot of shopping, but I wanted some presents for family and friends, which I also found. And that was like why we went there second time. And we did not visit the castle, of course, again. So it was just one time that we actually went up there. Afterwards, it was nearly already the end of our trip. And I'm going to move on to actually the end, because there was not going on as much. In the evening, we enjoyed more or less to work. It was in the evening, it was really nice. The weather was nice, not too hot compared to the journey. And you could work more easily. And unfortunately, the end of the trip, when we came back from Malaga the second time around, I did not my feet were better concerning the blisters. But I got something that when I walked underneath my foot, it was really hurting me. And I feel like some delicate flower when I say that, but usually I'm not having or feeling any pain. So for me it was weird because I'm used to walk a lot. And it was kind of weird pain, and I never had that, something is pulling on my feet all the time. And in the end, I just discovered that I had to rest my feet a little bit more. I made some wrong movement probably, or I over-exaggerated it, and with the heat and all. And when I came back, it was better. But these were just the last 2-3 days that I was really hurting when I walked. So this kind of restrained ourselves also from working and doing a lot of stuff. But when we went back, there was this shuttle bus that came get us, and this went this time really well. They were on time and they were really kind, but they informed us that our flight would have 1 hour delay, which was sad, but I can live with that. When you go home, it's not as bad as if you go to some place. I feel like you are less stressed, you're just going home, so you don't really mind as much. The airport was bigger, so we enjoyed the time to just check out the little shops and also get something for the neck during the flight. You know, these little cushions you can buy to put around your neck. And I think this was really helped to sleep and to feel better. So we were waiting for our flight, and the time passed by actually pretty quickly. So until then, everything was fine. Then actually everything happened that could go wrong, went wrong. So we went into the plane, we were sitting down, We were in the air like for, I don't know, the plane just went off, I would say for a quarter of an hour or more, like 20, 25 minutes we were in the air. And you have to know that the plane does take like 2.5 hours to arrive at home. At my place, I'm just looking for my scissors. I don't know what I've done with them. Let me go get them quickly. So 2.5 hours of flight, and we were up there for like half an hour, I think. And suddenly you have a sir who's leaving, a mister who's leaving. He will go to the toilet and he comes back. He was seated right behind us, of course. So what happens is that he is behind like the stewardess who was kind of giving out water and drinks to everyone. And suddenly he wants to pass her by. Like he is really forcing his way to pass her. And she's like, sir, you have to wait. Please kindly wait. Take seat. And he was like, yeah, I don't feel well. I don't feel well. She was like, yeah, if you don't feel well, please don't push me. Like you just go, please, back to your seat. And you or stay in the front. There's a free seat. And you just wait. And one of my colleagues will get back at you. And we will have a look at you. So this is what she said, and the man, he was like kind of pushing her again just to pass her and get to his seat. And he works even further than his seat, so he just continues working. People are already getting like interested in what is going on because like they are making a fuss in the plane, like in the corridor, small corridor of the plane who's flying. So people were kind of getting startled and interested and a little bit confused about what is actually going on. And the fact that he was pushing her and trying to get like to push her, and the cart she was like pushing with the drinks on, people were like kind of, what is going on? That's pretty weird. We're on a plane. Why are you doing that? And even if it's sick, like, I don't know, I think he was like not really knowing in the end what he was doing because he felt so sick. He was kind of desperate, but back then we did not really know. So he's pushing his way in front of her and the cart with the drinks. Then instead of like sitting down, he moves further like to the end of the plane, and then he just kind of drops. So he drops in the middle of the plane. He becomes unconscious and he's lying on the floor. And people are like, really, what is going on? And then you have like the 3 stewardesses who are sitting next to him for like over half an hour because he's still down. And of course, luckily enough, he did not get sick, but he was just lying there. And afterwards, he woke up. And they made him sit like in front of the plane. So where they could have a look at him all the time. Yeah, so people were kind of anxious at the beginning. And I feel like, I don't know, they did not know like what to do, what was going on. Or they were like, it's weird if you have someone who acts up in a plane. So yeah, I think some people were afraid as well. For different reasons, maybe. And in the end, so the plane actually continued flying, so everything was fine. They decided that we did not have to land to see a doctor. Actually, the doctor would come once we landed, so he would be treated first, and then afterwards, like, we could leave the plane. So there, everything was fine. We received our eating, we received some drinks, and then the flight continued normally, and we arrived like 1 hour later. And it was like pretty late because we should have arrived at midnight in Luxembourg, so which meant that we would arrive at 1 o'clock, which is pretty late as well. And we had the shuttle bus, so I was like, okay, they are going to wait for us, everything is fine. So when we landed, the doctor came in. This took, of course, some more time. Of course, it's normal. He was sick, so they treated him. They said that he had some allergy. At least that's the rumor that's going around. And so he was sick. I'm not sure. I have never seen anything. It's been 2 weeks and I'm still fine. He was sitting behind her, so I don't know what it was. Maybe he just ate something and he did not feel well. At least there was the ambulance that was waiting for him, and they just took him away straight away when we landed. The doctor came in, took him with him, and he could walk, so that's fine. And they treated him first, which is totally okay. I get that. Once we walked out of the plane, I had like this elderly couple behind me, and I was really careful to walk so that they would not the woman was before me, the man was behind me, and she was like moving really bad. So I was trying to guard my distance and to let her walk quietly so that she would not fall, because you know that the stairs sometimes when you move out of an airplane can be quite wobbly. And the man behind, he was like kind of pushing and kind of moving super quick, and he did not, I was nearly down the stairs. I was like, there was really one stair left to get down and then everything would have been fine. And he moves at the back of my shoe. You may know that feeling when someone is like stepping on your shoe. And it's not that I have been falling. Luckily, I did not fall. But this kind of destroyed my shoe, because it was a sandal, flat shoe. And there was this part of a ribbon here going over my foot and holding it. And this part, when he just kind of moved down, I was moving up, and this kind of broke. So I had one shoe that was no longer sitting on my foot. So, and the thing is, they did not drop us actually under, in the airport. So usually what happens when you get out of a plane and you're not straight into the airport, because that can happen. Then you have a shuttle bus, a small bus that drives you actually to the airport, so that you don't have to walk on the planes where they drive, I guess. Do planes drive? Yeah, they do drive on the street for the planes. But this is not what happened. Maybe because we were the last flight that came in, so there was no risk. But they let us walk all over this street for the airplanes, and it was pouring rain. So we went from sun to pouring rain. You imagine my shoe being broken, me just having one shoe at this point, and me wobbling around like this, me trying to be helpful and be careful with the wife, and the man not really caring. He saw it, but he did not even say sorry. And back then I was just so annoyed, so tired, and I did not have the energy to make any fuss about that. But I was working there I don't know what I looked like, and I think I don't really care about that, but it was just the worst. It felt so, it could have happened, I don't know, 1 hour later and I would have been home, but no, it had to happen there. And this just made everything, it was so funny because everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. Our flight was late. He just we had this person who got sick on plane. People were worrying. He just breaking my shoe, me wobbling through the whole airport bare feet at the end, because I could not walk with one shoe on. This did not work. So I walked barefoot because I had not my extra shoes. They were in my baggage that was still in the plane. The big baggage that you have to get at the end of your trip. So I just wobbled barefoot throughout the whole airport for I don't know, at least 5 minutes, because it was wait. It was really, really far away. Usually our airport is really small, but they dropped us off at the end of it, where usually flights come in from, I don't know, Amsterdam or stuff like that. So I don't know why they dropped us off there, probably because of the ambulance. But so, yeah, it took some time to get there. My feet were hurting and everything, so it was really disastrous. Then we waited for our luggage, and the luggage took an hour to come in. Literally, it took at least 30 minutes for us to get our luggage. So it was already 1:30 when we went with our luggage to get the shuttle bus, which should have waited for us. But of course there were like different companies, and they were waiting there for their clients with like a paper shield with the name of the agency or the name of the clients on there. But for us there was no one there. And I was like looking outside. It was still pouring, and there was like one of their shuttle buses staying outside on the big parking space of the airport. And they were still waiting there. And so I was like, oh, maybe that's for us, so maybe you have to go see there. And I told my boyfriend, let's go and see. And it was pouring, and we did not have any clothes for the rain because we came from Spain where it was super hot and super sunny. And we just like walked through the rain to this shuttle bus. Just that he tells us, oh yeah, but we are not going to your place, we just picked up some other people, we don't go there. I was like, okay, really nice, amazing. So it was nearly 2 a.m. by then. And I called like the shuttle bus service. You remember the very nice experience I had with them the first time around when I tried to call them and they really did not want to pick up or be helpful in any way. So I was really happy because this time the guy was like more helpful and he was kind. And he told us that, yeah, he had told the driver since there was a delay to go home. And I was like, okay, but we arrived and we are there. And I was like, okay, I'm going to send you a taxi. And he will be there in a few minutes. So don't worry, he will be there and he will drive you home. So the taxi did arrive after time. And there were other like people who wanted to pick us up, other taxi drivers. And I was like, nah, because this one we paid for, so I was sure that we did not have to pay for it. And the others, I did not know if we had to pay them and then go back to the agency, and I did not really want to do with all of that. So I waited for the driver patiently, and he did come, and he was really kind. So he was talking throughout the whole drive with us. He was actually from Portugal. And he talked a little bit more about our destination, how our holidays went. So we talked to him. And I felt like he really needed to talk also. So it was fun. And he showed us where he would go to the holidays in the end. So really interesting, actually. And we got home like really comfortably. And this was the trip. But to get home, it was like quite an odyssey to go back. Just because of all things that happened to us. And I feel like there were some things that really did go wrong. And it was quite an adventure. And in the end, I was so happy when I got home. And there was like a really big surprise awaiting me, because I told you guys that I celebrated my birthday when I was away. I often do that, actually. And I have like this friend, a longtime friend I have from the States that's really, really dear to me. And she had sent me like a big like parcel with a lot of fun stuff that I would really enjoy. And she knows that I'm a big fan of BTS, K-pop in general. So she had packed some goodies from the concert she had seen when she went to see Sugar from BTS. So she had added some like stuff from the concert. She had added some very cute mug for the tea, some tea for me, which I really, really love. She had added some snacks, Japanese kind of snacks that were amazing and that we ate like in the first 2 days. And even though she's like always telling me that it's not good for my health, but she bought and sent me some of my favorite cereals, like that we really don't get here or that we have to pay really an expensive price, which are like, you know, probably these little gnomish Lucky Charms. So she bought me like 2 big packages of Lucky Charms and also very cute gift. I have like 3 turtles and she knows that, and so she sent me like wooden, I actually have it here, like let me show you. Aren't they just too beautiful? Like she sent me these. This is wood. I'm going to zoom out so you can actually see it. And I can hang them like, but I don't want to hang them outside because I know that they will be destroyed. So I want to take them upstairs with me to my room. And these represent actually my 3 turtles. So I'm so happy about all the cute gifts. So yeah, this was actually my trip to Spain. In general, like when I think back now, I really miss the time, the weather that they are having, because here it has been raining all day ever since. And it's really cold here. I really feel like autumn, where there it was like really, really hot. And I don't know how I place my drills. Like, I'm sorry. Don't take a look at it. If you're watching, please don't watch right now. So yeah, it was really, the weather was nicer there. And I feel like I missed home though, because people are different here. And also the fact that Grandpa should have come with us, then he could not. I'm happy though, he's doing better. He will get operated soon. They will operate him in September now. So I'm crossing the fingers that everything will be fine. And if he's better, then we will probably leave this year still for London. Well, I'm going to leave for London soon. But he will leave. He wanted to go with us, but then I will go with him again later on this year if everything goes well now. So I really, really cross my fingers, hoping for the best, that he can come with us this time around. And yeah, so for the rest of the trip, like the hotel, I did not really miss it. The beach, I never went swimming actually in the sea. I don't really like my feet touching weird things. But I walked through the water. That was nice. I miss the weather mainly. I'm happy to be back home though. So it's a give and take. It's like, yeah, and I don't know. It's like good and good. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. I'm sorry about that. I just feel like when you go to a trip, it is good and you enjoy your trip. You do the best. You get the best out of it. And then you're also happy to be home. And that's what I actually felt. Of course, like there are parts that you miss that is like not as good at home. But like it's always great to be home, see your friends and family. And it's not like I was away for such a long time. It's just like the circumstances maybe. We got a little bit unlucky, I feel, at the beginning and the end of our trip. But that's fine. So I'm not going to dwell on that. I'm looking forward to our next trip and to holidays I still have. So I'm still having a few days of holidays before I get back at work. And I want to end today's WIP and Sip and Chat with like a little bit of a talk of everyday talk and my book talk. So I'm going to kick it off like with my everyday talk. You might have noticed that at the end of the year, when I say end of the year, it's mostly end of last school year. I was telling you a little less about my job, and back at one point I was like not really happy about what was going on, the situation with like work, just how things were handled in general with the kids at work. And I must say that from the start of next year, there are things that are going to change. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm not going into the details. I'm just going to say that the headboard has been changed. So there will be no longer the same people who are like running our school. There will be different people who are doing that. I was kind of like sad though at the end of the school year, because we were having these last reunion we usually do, where I do like last big point about school year. And that's where they announced that they would be leaving. And they did say thank you to everyone and all kind of people, but they kind of forgot the 260 or more people that were in the room, and that were like the teachers. So they thanked like kind of everyone except for the teachers, who, if you ask me, are those that are like on the terrain, who are actually running the business. So I felt a little bit sad about that. You can thank like everyone, like the members of the directorship, like the head board that are working with you. I'm completely fine with that, especially if they are also leaving. But I feel like you should also thank those that actually do the job, like on place, like on the terrain, and that was forgotten, at least by the old leadership that we had. And then they presented to us after saying that they were going on their own free will. Like they told us that, or the minister that was there, he told us who would be the replacement. And they were also there. And they at least addressed like the problems that we were having at the end of this, throughout the whole school year. And they did send us away to the summer break with a thank you, which made me happy and sad at the same time, because I was like somehow expecting this from those that were like there throughout the year, but they did not say it. So anyway, I'm happy to say that I am staying positive like for next year. I really hope that there will be some changes regarding like the issues that we had, which also are like kind of dragging me down a little bit through the last few months, I think. There were a lot of struggles at work, and I really hope that things are going in another direction now, or like in a brighter direction for teachers as well as for the students. So this is what I just want to say about work in general. So I know that people usually use YouTube as a place to rant and everything. I wanted to like keep the happy part, but I just wanted to say this now to explain why sometimes at maybe the end of last school year I was feeling a little bit different about my job and the environment I was in. And it was kind of frustrating. A lot of frustration has been building up through the last months. And I really hope that this is going to be better. And I want my channel to stay like this really bubbly and healthy and great place like to exchange. But I also wanted to say this just because I feel like on YouTube, if I get like this positive, only good thing vibe, this does not make it real, and I feel like people can't always connect, because I feel like everyone goes through phases at work or at families or whatever it is with friends that are difficult. So saying everything is right and is good and so on, not addressing it, makes us create a second Instagram, for example, like a place where everything is fake and where you only see the good parts. So I want, of course, to keep it a happy place. But I just wanted to tell you that there were things going on and that there has been a change. So I really hope for the good part. And to let you know as well that if you have like stuff that you're going through or things that are not as well, there might come a change. And so that this is also part of reality, that not everything we see on YouTube, Instagram and so on is nice. There are also like other things going on in one's life that may not be as great. So just to keep it real, just to explain a little bit, I am going to move on now. After this little update, I'm going to move on now to my book talk. So this is a fun talk and a fun bit, because I have been reading or using my time wisely to read a lot. I started a new fantasy series, which is actually a lot like Game of Thrones. So if you know Game of Thrones and you like it, it's like also in a medieval environment. And it's about like a guy who's living in a small town. And one day, like there's like this festivity where they celebrate, in towns, usually during medieval age, you had a lot of like festivities where people dance and sing and so on. And you have like this day where there is invasion of like Trollocs, like these people who are half human, half animal. And they are killing like everyone, and they are after like a guy and a young boy like him. And the thing is, they don't know which one it is because there were like 3 guys or 3 young men that were attacked. So, and from there on, you have like a whole journey that they are doing, like, and it's like in a fantasy game, if you love to play games. So this could be interesting for you because it really suits well, like the story of a fantasy game where you do it step by step. You see the adventure they are doing, and it's like a whole big saga. And they are kind of just like getting more people together, and then they are wandering off. So you have like one sorceress with them, you have a healer, you have a guy that's talking and singing, and then you have like fighters in general. So, and you have one big knight. So, and they are moving on together and trying to make this work and seeing how everything goes. So this is what I've been reading. I'm just going to open my little app so that I can show you the book. So if you want to see what it is like. So this is my reading challenge. And here we go. So this is the book. I don't know. It's by Robert Jordan. And it's called La Roue du Temps. I read it in French, but let me see if I can find out what it is like called. Oh, well, hello. So you have 51 editions of it. Okay, it's from the 2 Rivers, The Eye of the World, Part 1. So this is what it's called like. And it's a bit about time. So what is important in this one, and I think you see it well on the French cover actually, you have this snake there. Hey, open. So you have this snake there, this infinity snake. So it's also linked about time and how things actually repeat themselves, and it's about a dragon, and we don't really know much about him yet in this first book of the series. It's a big series, so if you don't like series, that's not for you, but it's a big series, and it's about the dragon, and we don't know. For some he's the good person, for some he's the bad person that is actually there to save the world or to destroy the world. So, and I think that's actually what life is about. There's not just black and white, you also have like all in between, and this is what this book is about, the series as well. So I really like that. And what I like is like this epic character of the story about like how this is moving on. I know the author died, so the author is dead, the story is closed, and the last few, I think it's 3 or 4 books, have been written by Brandon Sanderson. So if you know, he's also a fantasy author who's quite known recently. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. And if you like Game of Thrones, or like more of this medieval and this saga and like all these characters that come together to live an adventure, this is for you. So this was the first one I wanted to talk to you guys about, and the next one is actually a series as well, but you can read them independently, like this one. So it's from a series that's telling you fairy tales, but prohibited fairy tales. And this is for people who are over 18 for different reasons, actually. So it's a series because we have like different authors. This one is Simon Rousseau, but they change every time around. And they are actually presenting the fairy tales that we get, but in a different light and very different in modern times. And yeah, so I've read 2 of them. So this is the first one that I've read. It's the story of Peter Pan. And why is it for like people over 18? So it's just because you have like, of course, you have some sex scenes in it, but you also have like, it's brutal. There are things and themes that are not for younger readers. I really enjoyed this one. Peter Pan is about like people that addicted, especially children who kill themselves. That's how it starts. Then you have Hook, who becomes actually a retired police officer after having lost his hand to the crocodile, a criminal. And he is trying to find Wendy and the 2 boys that have gone lost. And these are the boys that his ex-girlfriend has adopted. So, and of course they are linked to Peter Pan. And you will discover who think about is in the story, and she's not what you expect to be. And you will discover also the backstory of Pan, why he wants to stay a child. And it's really dark story about why he wants to stay a child. I really, really, really enjoyed this book. So this is such a nice book. The only thing that kind of disappointed me was the end. But that's me. I think for a lot of people, the end will be great. The person I am, I did not like it as much. But if you cut out like the 4 last pages, the book would be fine. So I really think if you like fairy tales, if you like retelling of fairy tales, if you like a little bit of horror, this is for you guys. So Peter Pan was really, really amazing. And what I'm reading now is that, you know this app, I guess. So it's called Goodreads, and that's no, what do you call it? They are not paying me for doing this. It's just like an app that I use for years. And you can add actually the books you read. And what is nice, you can use every year, you can do a reading challenge. So I usually put down 25 books. And yeah, you've seen I've read 22 out of 25. But you can follow a little bit, and you have suggestions of themes you like. If you like fantasy, for example, they will give you hints about other books that could please you. You can do suggestions to your friends, whatever. Really nice. So this is the second one I'm reading right now. So I told you the authors change, and this is from LP Sicard. Oh, I just wanted to say that they take place in Quebec, so in Canada mostly. So if you're interested in that. And this is called Réponse, so it's actually Rapunzel Tangled, if you want to know. And also, like, all of these are for readers over 18, so don't get it if you're not over 18. Well, I told you, you do whatever you want, but I told you so. So you have the book starts off with 2 men who actually are hunting in a place that's prohibited for them. And you have one man that is actually going to kill a deer. And he does a thing to the deer. And from there on, everything is going down the hill. So this is what's happening. And this is part 1. And in part 2, you learn a little bit more about Tangled and where she's coming from and what is happening to her, why she's in that tower. So really, really interesting as well. A little bit more dark. I read this one at night just before I went to sleep, and I would not recommend that. I would recommend it if you love horror movies or stuff like that. But I'm really sensible and sensitive, and I felt like I did not want to go to pee on my own. So no, I'm just kidding. But you know what I mean. It's really, there was like one scene, and I was so afraid afterwards. So if you like horror, if you like something, just go for it. It can be a little bit gore sometimes, so stay away from it. Maybe just read what the themes are of every book without getting spoiled too much. But that's just something that I wanted to show you guys because I really, really like that. And I've been talking for over half an hour now. I don't really know how long this WIP&SIP&CHAT will be. Probably an eternity. But I've been away for quite some time, so that's fine. Let me just kind of put these up again because I pulled them off. And that's it for today, I guess. So I worked through most of what I wanted to work through. So I'm going to finish this off. Then I'm going to add some pictures and I will publish it so that you can see it tonight, 5 o'clock, like usual. So stay tuned. I hope you stay healthy. I hope you stay hydrated. I hope you did advance in your project or whatever it is. And I hope you have a great week. So stay healthy, stay hydrated, and bye guys.